Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone out there watching in the Academy. I'm so happy to jump on here and share this wonderful live class with you. Hi, Carolina. Nice to see you again. So if you are joining for the first time, welcome. If you are here and you've been here for a while, welcome. It's so wonderful to see you. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning or day or whatever time it is for you in your time zone. So we are going to talk about confidence in conversations, mastering confident conversations, and also being able to continue the conversation because sure, that takes skill, that takes confidence. And I'm going to give you, as always, strategies that you can use right away as soon as we finish this call. You are able to start implementing them and putting them into practice. So now would be a perfect time to get a nice warm beverage. I have a tea with me, some water. I even have some coffee with some almond milk because hey, I love my cold and warm beverages. So get your beverage, maybe grab some paper to take some notes if you'd like. You can always have the replay if you are a member in our paid plan, as well as the guides and the resources that I'm going to share with you, so that you have those and they're ready to go and they're easy to look at and they're easy to kind of follow. So let's go ahead and share my screen with you all. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Terrific. Okay, so I want to start by just kind of, we're going to lay the groundwork a little bit and we're going to talk about this idea of what that confidence is in conversations and how do you kind of, tap into it mid-conversation, before a conversation, what that looks like. And then, like I said, the strategies that you're going to have. So first off, please write in the chat an answer to this question, at least think about it. What is one thing that you wish you felt more confident talking about in conversations and why? So what's one thing that you wish you felt more confident talking about in conversations and why? And if you think back to your social interactions at work, that might be one thing. If you think back to your social interactions just in casual life, that's another thing. So what does that look like for you? So I'll give you a couple of seconds to kind of think about that. What does that look like for you? And why is that important? You could also think of it as, what do you wish you could talk more about, right? Is it something like subject matter expertise in your field, in your industry, in your line of work? Is it something about related to your passions? Is it just being able to kind of have small talk conversation with anyone, anywhere, whether that be at work or, just out and about in life? Is it maybe you're starting a YouTube channel and you want to be able to talk on camera, right? That's also a very important skill. So think about this for a moment and then write your answer in the chat. Write your answer in the chat. Okay, so Carolina says, business strategies, common multicultural topics. These are great. Could you elaborate a little bit, Carolina? Not to put you on the spot, but these are helpful, right? And then you get some feedback. Tell me a little bit more. I love it. I love how we're thinking big picture here. What do you mean by business strategies? What do you mean by common multicultural topics? And for those joining now, hi, Andres. Nice to see you. The question is, what is one thing you wish you felt more confident talking about in conversations and why? Why is it important to be able to talk about the things you want to be able to talk about? Okay, I'll let you sit with that for a minute. And you can always put your answer in the forum that's available to members, paying members, that's available to you. So you can type more answers in the forum and I will provide feedback on that as well. So let's see, Carolina expanded on her thoughts. Thank you. Political topics, outside activities. Right, so just being able to talk about things that you take interest in, hobbies, things like that, being able to, strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere. It sounds like, if I'm reading into that correctly, those are great reasons for being able to kind of have a conversation, just being able to share your thoughts, share your ideas, maybe have a little debate back and forth, right? Whatever it is, these are important things. So I want you to imagine this now. You are at a networking event or at a party, and you've done your homework, you've done your research, you show up dressed sharp, dressed, in a way that makes you feel confident, and you manage to somehow spark a conversation with somebody who seems interesting, right? And then it happens. Your brain just freezes and your inner voice starts whispering to you, why did you say that? Are they bored? What if there's an awkward silence? What if my, thoughts are not being expressed clearly enough? Well, my friends, here's the thing, right? Confident communication is not about ever feeling awkward, because we're always going to have moments where we feel maybe a little shy, maybe a little awkward, maybe a little strange, maybe a little out of place. Okay, that's completely natural. Even the most confident people. Knowing how to move through those uncomfortable moments with ease and even enjoying the process. Okay, so today in this live class, we are going to dive into how to build confidence in conversations, complete with actionable tips and examples that are going to help you to level up your communication game. So that's what we're here to do today, and I'm so excited that you're here joining me for this. So a little bit about me. I am an executive communication and social fluency coach. I have been empowering the modern executive and the ambitious international professionals that come to me, that companies also send to me, to become more powerful, confident communicators cross-culturally, interculturally, and at work and in life. So I have almost 20 years of experience spanning communications, education, ed tech, television, broadcasting, which I bring all into here in the academy, as well as in my web courses and podcasts and lessons and everything that I share with you. And I truly am on a mission to help individuals boost their confidence, level up in your careers, build meaningful connections that go beyond surface level small talk, and have a huge impact both professionally and socially. So I've also developed a unique expertise in helping professionals find their voice and make a lasting impression and exude the confidence that you want as an executive, as an entrepreneur, as a 9-to-5, as a parent, as a best friend, as a human being. So I'm going to show you how to speak up, how to make meaningful connections, and how to amplify your impact. So that is what we are here to do. And if you'd like to know more about me, then I encourage you to follow me on LinkedIn. I post articles and strategies there as well. So that might be something that you would enjoy. So that's my LinkedIn. Okay, so with that, let's talk about the importance of confident communication. So it builds trust, right? It shows that you have, people trust you with what you say, that you are credible. You are a credible subject matter expert. If you're talking about work, you're a passionate hobbyist. You're somebody who's passionate about life, right? So it creates that rapport. It starts to build that trust that is so essential to interpersonal skills and to interpersonal relationships. It also makes you more convincing, more persuasive. People, you might get more buy-in from stakeholders, from people, from friends, right? As something as simple as, should we have sushi or pizza tonight? And you make your case for sushi and everybody is into it, okay? Something as simple as that. Or, hey, what movie should we watch this weekend? You can convince people of that. Or something even greater, like, buy my product, here's why it's so great. Or purchase my services, here's why they're so great, right? Persuasion. Also, fostering solid connections, improving interactions with others, increasing your social fluency, giving yourself that social boost, showing people that you are a calm, collected, savvy communicator. So it improves relationships, of course. So let's talk about some of the things that are getting in the way of confident conversation. There are 3 top ones. Fear of judgment. Okay, let's go through these one by one so we can hone in. Okay, fear of judgment. So there comes a time where we have that communication apprehension because of the fear of evaluation, the fear of being judged, right? So we have to overcome that, because if we're constantly thinking, are they judging me? Are they judging me? Are they, really listening to what I have to say? Or are they thinking about, why I'm strange or weird or have an accent or speak too fast or speak too slow or speak too perfectly, whatever it is, right? It's okay to make mistakes. That's part of the learning process. Whether you're an L1 English speaker or an L2 English speaker, we all make mistakes. That's just part and parcel of being human. Okay. Lacking preparation. When you go into a meeting, when you go into a one-on-one, when you go into even just a casual social interaction, you want to have some level of preparation. Okay. That's going to immediately set you at ease. We cannot overlook the importance of preparation. No matter how great an expert you are, no matter how confident you might be, no matter how amazing you are at your job, you still need to show up prepared. And yes, I'll wager you can even show up prepared for your casual conversations, even with friends. Just have a couple of items that you want to talk about. You might go into a social interaction at a barbecue thinking, okay, well, I want to talk about my favorite movie that I just saw. I want to talk about a book that I just read that I think this group of people would love. And I want to share an update about life. Okay, have 3 things. Anytime you go into a social setting, anytime you go, oops, I just hit my mic there. Anytime you go into any type of social interaction at work or in life, be prepared, because that is going to immediately boost your confidence. This I promise you. And then, of course, we have self-doubt, right? That nagging voice inside our heads that is saying, you're not good enough, you're not this enough, you're not that enough. Guess what? Shut it down, and you are enough, okay? If you go in thinking that you've got this, that you are enough, you will sometimes even trick your brain into believing that, even if you don't believe it in that moment. Sometimes we have to play a little bit of a mind game and just show our mind who is boss, right? You are boss. So don't let your mind control you. Don't let it take you into directions that are going to make you spiral out of control. Okay, so you need to think about these barriers and how they affect you. So just by a show of hands, digital show of hands with the emojis maybe, how many of you feel any one of these things in conversation, be it fear of judgment, lack of preparation, or self-doubt? Drop in the chat which one is the most, like the predominant one, the number one barrier for you specifically. What might that be? For everyone, it's different. For everyone, it's going to be different. It could be all 3 too. It totally could be all 3. Okay, so Carolina says self-doubt. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. That can certainly be at the forefront for many of us. And look, it can be all of these things at different times. Maybe for a business call, you have low confidence because you were not prepared enough, or you just simply felt you were not prepared enough. There is a difference. Feeling prepared and actually being prepared. There's a fine line there, but there's a difference. The self-doubt maybe you have when you're talking about, your favorite hobbies, and you feel like you need to know about your favorite hobby, but you're not able to like speak it well enough, right? Or the fear of evaluation and judgment that could also, show up in any type of social situation. And I'm sure we have all felt these. Maybe you've felt one or two of them even today, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm here to tell you it's okay. And the good news is that we can move past it. These strategies that I'm going to give you are going to equip you to become more confident. So Andres says, I usually feel all of them, but self-doubt is the biggest barrier I have. Okay, so that's great, my friends, because what we're doing here is we have that intrapersonal communication, which is we're asking ourselves to introspect. We're analyzing our inner voice. We're thinking about previous experiences and social interactions and communication events, right? You've just done that in the matter of seconds and minutes. And then you've responded to my question that I had for you, which one is the most dominant one, right? So that is the first step. That self-awareness is the very first step. So that's great news. That's amazing news, because we first have to understand what it is that's ailing us, right? Okay. So adopting a positive mindset is another thing that cannot be overlooked, because it starts up here, right? That fear that we might be experiencing of self-doubt, of judgment, of lack of preparation, all starts up here. Okay, so if we can tame the monkey mind, if we can tame the beast, we are halfway there. Sometimes even more than halfway. So the first thing is focus on the good, right? So think about your strengths, think about your accomplishments. Even I like to say, have a running list somewhere, like a brag list for yourself. Say, okay, look at all the amazing things I've done. And it doesn't have to just be work related. It could be, wow, I did like 5 pull-ups, or I did 100 push-ups, or I made my friend laugh. I'm so great at making people laugh and brightening people's days. Or I won this award and that award, and I got promoted, and I did this and I did that. So think about it. Keep a list somewhere, the good list, okay? That way you can revert to it. It could just be on your phone. It could be a notepad, a sticky pad, sticky, like a Post-it that you have at your desk, somewhere where you see it, or in the mirror. If you're into affirmations and you have your affirmation practice, look at your brag list, okay? And that's just for you. You don't have to show it to anyone. Or maybe you have a great LinkedIn. Look at your LinkedIn. Look at your resume. Okay, this is going to help you build that confidence. So whenever that sneaky, cunning inner voice comes in and tries to rain on your parade, you say, not letting that happen. Look at all the amazing things I've done and the amazing things I'm going to do, because I'm not done yet. Okay, so that's one thing. Reframing, right? Thinking of challenges as learning opportunities, as teachable moments, as opposed to setbacks and failures, and really more so as stepping stones. So this is really about tapping into the growth mindset. Why? Because if you think about something as a skill that you can improve upon, it's not fixed. It's not, an innate skill that you can never change. You're born like that, and you're either really good at something or you're really not good at something, and it'll always be like that. That's actually not the case at all, right? Excuse me. So I want you to embrace that growth mindset, because you're going to start to reframe. You are going to turn that negativity on its head. You're going to flip the script, and you're going to say, okay, this was a mini failure, maybe, fine. Okay, what can I learn from this? How can I move forward? What have I to learn from this experience? And then take those negative thoughts and look at it in a positive light, in an optimistic light. What is the silver lining? There is always a silver lining. Just you have to be sometimes creative, sometimes patient, sometimes open-minded, sometimes all three, to really find what that positive spin is. The positive people in life live longer, they're happier, they have more friends, they attract more opportunities, more business, more friends. So it's kind of, a win-win all around, being positive. Within reason, of course. You don't want to be super delusional maybe, but positive, yeah, for sure. Okay, the next thing, active listening. You'll notice if you've been hanging out with me for a while here in the academy, we're big on active listening. Why? Because you cannot have effective communication without it. Okay, it is a two-way street. We listen and we speak. And we try to aim for a nice 50-50 in conversations. So with nonverbal cues, when you're showing confidence, when you feel confident, you are actually showing your interest. You are paying attention not to yourself. You're not hyper-focused and hyper-vigilant on yourself, but you're paying attention to what other people are doing, what they're saying, how they're speaking, what the read between the lines is for them. How are you understanding what they're putting down, right? So eye contact, appropriate facial expression. So if they say something sad, you make a sad kind of expression. If they say something happy, you mimic them, you mirror them, you make a happy expression. Triple nodding is going to help people, continue the conversation, and they'll do the same for you. And really leaning in, showing interest, being actively engaged in the conversation. And then summarizing, clarifying points, repeating points. Because again, you're putting the focus and the energy on them, and that gives you less time to start, thinking about how unconfident you are, the lack of confidence that you might have. Once you put the attention and the focus on them, you're going to be so much more equipped to tap into that confidence, because again, it's not about you. It's not about you. And then asking relevant questions, right? Show the follow-ups, ask the follow-ups, show that you want to explore further. These are great to have because, and again, this is something that you can have kind of in the back of your mind before you go into, there are, of course, the spontaneous meetups and social interactions, which are amazing. I love those. But then we also have the planned ones. Like, you're going to meet with your boss at 2 p.m. on Thursday, or you're going to have that lunch appointment with your colleague from 5 years ago, and you to catch up. You're going to go to that networking event on Monday, right? So you have these events, that you're going to bump into people and have conversations with people. So just kind of keep a running list of good questions. And I always like to say, have your open-ended questions. Stay away from closed-ended questions. Have your open-ended questions, because that's going to lead you to better conversation. It's going to open the door to amazing conversation. So with engaging questions, what do? We show interest. Again, attention away from us and on them. Okay? You're interested, you're genuinely interested in other people's experiences and work and career and aspirations. And if you're not interested, well, then I would really encourage you to not feign interest, but find a way to make it interesting. Find a way to reframe and say, what can I learn from this person? How can I be inspired by this person? What is it that they can teach me? Okay? That's a very good mindset to be in. And then keep the flow, right? You have this dynamic back and forth, and that's the beauty of conversation. It's a dance. It's not just you taking the spotlight, or it's not just them taking the spotlight. It's a nice back and forth, a little dance. And then also these probing questions, these open-ended questions allow you to really, develop stronger rapport and build a real bond with somebody, because you're going to go deeper than that surface level chit chat, witty banter. Okay. Shared experiences, shared perspectives. So a really great way to build that confidence, to build that common ground, is by highlighting on shared perspectives and to actually share certain things, right? Maybe it's to show a little bit of a vulnerable side, because we all can share, something that maybe makes us feel like a little bit vulnerable. That's just human, right? Brene Brown talks a lot about that, the vulnerability in leadership as well. So, offering insights, offering opinions, sharing information. Just make sure that your comments and your questions relate to what's being said, what's being exchanged. Because if it just comes out of left field, it's going to feel really random, and it's going to actually do the opposite of what active listening does. It's going to be kind of like, why are they asking me this? Or where did that comment come from? Or that experience is not remotely similar to what I've just shared. So you want to make it relevant, in other words. That's really important. And then, you know what? The silence that we have should not feel awkward to you. It might feel like that in the moment. It might feel a little bit like, oh, this is a long silence, but it's really actually wonderful, and you should use it to your benefit. Why? Because it can allow a moment of reflection, right? You get to think about, okay, well, what am I saying? What are they saying? How can I connect the dots with this? It gives yourself some thinking time so you can, strategically answer, thoughtfully answer, respectfully answer. And it also creates space for the other person to respond, because they have to process the information too. If you just speak and speak and speak a mile a minute, well, you're not going to give them enough time to formulate a question, to ask a question, to think about something, to share an insight. So you really do need pauses and silence, and let's not be afraid of it in conversation. You don't have to fill every single moment of airtime, okay? Building on shared interests is really going to help you build that confidence, because you're going to feel that connection with the person. You're going to feel that rapport. You're going to want to share something with them, and they you. So really, one of the first things you want to do is to find common ground. That's going to help you so tremendously to boost your confidence and to continue the conversation confidently, because you're going to feel like, wow, this person gets me. These are my people. I feel them. They feel me. We're on the same page here. What a great sensation, right? And we've all had that, right? Where we've just been able to jive with people, and it feels so amazing. It feels so incredible. So think back to those conversations. And then also expand on the topics where you feel like there is a lot of overlapping interest. That's amazing. So ask questions, share stories, share anecdotes, pull out a photo and show an amazing trip that you had, or a cool, recipe that you tried, a new hobby that you've discovered. Whatever it is, build on that interest, dig deeper, go beyond surface level, and that way we really build on these interests. And then, of course, show genuine interest and curiosity, right? If they're passionate about something, try to mirror their passion for it. At least ask questions, at least be respectful. I'm not saying you have to have the exact same interests. That's actually pretty boring, right? We can have shared interests, overlapping interests, but we don't want to be a carbon copy of somebody. Even if you're a twin, your twin probably has different interests than you, I would imagine, right? Of course. So same for, people who you're going to be close with down the line, maybe business partners, best friends, whatever kind of relationship you have with them, find common ground, but don't put pressure on yourself to, be exactly alike because you think that friends are exactly alike. No, absolutely not. We want to be different too, right? So anyway, common ground is a great one to build your confidence. Okay, let's look at some sample phrasing now that you can really, you can either write them down, or if you are in the paid plan, you will get all of these guides. I have a wonderful guide that I'm also going to give you in the replay section, and it's really great because that's something, this is like an hour-long webinar, but you can always rewatch it, of course, but you can also just look at the guide and see the key kind of strategies and points and just run with that and always refer to it, have that on hand. Okay. So you might say, that's an interesting point. Can you tell me more about that? It shows genuine interest. It shows that you want them to elaborate. It signals active listening, all good things. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What's your perspective? Okay, so it's really encouraging them to voice those opinions, to voice those insights, and saying, look, I value your opinion. Tell me more. It gives opportunity for meaningful engagement. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a moment. Okay, so if somebody puts you on the spot, you don't know what to say, have a pause, have a smile, open positive body language and say, that's a great question. I hadn't thought about it. Let me think about that for a minute, or let me get back to you on that. Okay. It's totally fine. And then I'm curious to learn more. What has your experience been with this? Because again, it shows that you want to learn from them. It shows that you're making an effort. It's a super simple way, a super simple, genuine question, but it encourages them to share as well. You want to know their opinion. You want to know their insights. Again, a lot of times lack of confidence comes from putting too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. There, I said it. Lack of confidence often stems from this fear, this pressure that we put on ourselves without really, any reason to, for being perfect, whatever perfect is to you, acting a certain way, looking a certain way, feeling a certain way, projecting a certain image, speaking a certain way, having a certain accent, having, whatever. So eliminate that pressure from yourself by putting the focus no longer on you, but on them. So these sample phrasing, these questions really get you to a place to do that. Okay, you're no longer thinking about, oh my gosh, am I saying the perfect thing? Am I speaking the perfect way? Is my tone of voice perfect? Is my body language perfect? None of that, my friends. That's so last year. That's so 2024. We are in 2025 now, and we're all about progress over perfection. We're all about connection to confidence, right? Connection. So that's very important to keep in mind. What's your take on this? What are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about this? Okay, again, the pressure is off of us. We're not focusing on us. We are focusing on them. When you do this, it is such a game changer. Let me tell you, you are going to have a 180 moment in terms of your conversations. They're going to revolutionize your conversation simply by putting the focus on them as opposed to you. It's going to do amazing things for your confidence. It's going to do amazing things for your friendship, for your relationship, for your business partnership, for your social interaction, and for the conversation. It makes it so much more fun, because guess what? You're no longer caught up talking with your own inner voice and thinking about, criticizing yourself and critiquing your every move and your every word. You're more so thinking about the conversation and what you're learning and how you're enjoying it, and just being lost in conversation and experiencing the ebbs and flows of conversation, because that's a beautiful thing. Okay, so if we're building on shared interests, that's a great point. I also love learning about energy, and then you share a shared interest. Or I've always been fascinated by hiking. Okay, have you had any fun hikes lately? Have you had any cool experiences with this, that, or the other? And then you could say, for another way, I recently experienced or discovered this. What about you? Are you interested in golf? Okay, simple as that. So these are 3 great little frameworks that you can use here just to build rapport and to build on shared interests. Another huge confidence booster. So I really want you to take all these strategies, start practicing them, okay? Don't feel like you have to do all of them all at once every day. Start with one. Maybe you just start with this number 1 and build share interest. Play around with it for a week. See how you feel. Do it in different social settings. Do it at a barbecue. Do it at a game night. Do it at your, barbecue. Do it at your, around the water cooler at work. Wherever, business settings and also casual settings. You want to practice these in both settings because they're going to change a little bit. They are malleable, right? They're changeable. We have to adapt. We have to be flexible in our communication, but these are phenomenal strategies and frameworks to help you set up sort of a structure, okay? That in and of itself is going to give you confidence, because right there, you're more prepared. So I want to give you a little bit of a challenge for the rest of this week and into the weekend. I also have this in my newsletter, so that's why it says email, but webinar. Choose one conversation strategy from this webinar If you got an email from me, I also put that in there because I want you to do this challenge. Maybe it's, asking a great opener, or maybe it's about embracing the silence, embracing the pauses. And then I want you to practice it within at least 3 conversations and try to make those different conversations. So one with a friend, one with your coworker, one with the barista, one with your neighbor, right? Try to find 3 kind of distinct, disparate social settings and at work and just in life. And then here's kind of the tough part, let's say, in a way, the reflection. But my friends, that's key, right? Because it's in the reflection that we're going to learn a lot. Okay, so do the thing, do it in different settings, and then reflect back on it. And if you're in the community, I want you to post what you discovered, share a golden nugget, okay, in the forum. When I publish this replay, along with the materials, the slides, the guides, drop in the comments in the forum what you practiced, what you learned. That is so key. That is already a huge step towards progress, that reflection component. So do not overlook it. Super important. I cannot emphasize that enough. And then if you really want to take your skills to the next level, we have a phenomenal workbook, 2025 Communication Mastery Workbook, really helping you reflect, teaching you strategies and giving you prompts, and then allowing you to reflect, giving you the space to reflect. You just have to set aside 5 minutes, 5 minutes every day. You have 5 minutes to spare. Clear, actionable exercises, tools to help you develop that inner awareness, that self-awareness, having that intrapersonal conversation, right? Intrapersonal communication, the conversation we have with ourselves, right? That inner voice. And you want to strengthen that muscle, because if you don't, then guess what will happen? The negative self-talk will sabotage you, right? And that shoots down our confidence. We do not want to let the negative self-talk in there. So activities like these that I shared with you at the beginning of this webinar, as well as what we have in the Communication Mastery Workbook, are going to help you conquer that negative self-talk, because you are able to flex that skill of understanding your intrapersonal and self-awareness. And this is going to help you build deeper connections at work, in life, in any kind of social situation, and also secrets to executive communication, because that way you stand out as a leader, as a thought leader, as a manager, as a boss, as a rising leader, as a rising star, as an entrepreneur. Okay, it's 12 pages long. You can download it, you can print it out. And my advice to you would be to make 4 copies of it, or have 4 digital copies of it. And quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, right? Every 3 or so months, you revisit it. You look at what you've reflected on, because that way you can track progress, you can measure growth, you can see how your answers have changed and how you've shifted and how you've grown. And if you stick with me in this community, you will 100% see and feel that communication progress. So why not document it? Why not have that in your beautiful 2025 level up your communication year? Okay, so that's in the community. So my beautiful friends, thank you so much for joining me. Do we have any questions that I can get to before we hop off? If you do have some questions that you have questions, but you don't really have them right at this very moment, then you can absolutely ask them in the forum. Like I said, when the replay goes up. If you're joining live right now and you really have a burning question, feel free to ask it right now. Totally cool. I'm here for another, couple minutes. Yay, Carolina, phenomenal class. Thank you so much, Coach. Listen, my pleasure. Thank you for carving out the time for this, right? Carving out the time, showing up. That's a huge first step. So I'm really proud of you. Well done for showing up. And I can't wait to see what you've done with the challenge that I gave you. right? Practice these strategies, make them your own, try them on for size, and then let's sit with that reflection. Grab a warm beverage, sit in a comfy, cozy corner of your home, and reflect. So valuable, so key. That's how we're going to grow even more. Okay? So well done, my friends, and I will see you for another live class. And I'm also going live tomorrow. We're going to do a Google Meet call for my paid plan people. We're going to practice some more strategy, and we're going to be on camera together. So I'm going to see all your lovely faces, all your wonderful smiles, and we're going to practice together some new strategies that I'm going to give you. So that's to be more charismatic and confident. Charisma and confidence tend to go hand in hand. So I'm going to give you charisma strategies tomorrow that we're going to practice together and going to give you feedback on. So I hope you join me for that. I will put a link up now because we have enough people who've expressed interest. So I hope you can join us for that. You'll see it in the events, the live event space in our community. Okay, so I'll see you for tomorrow's Google Meet. All right, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and I will see you very soon.